The leadership in America is failing us greatly.
So, what is really going on the border?
Faced with a surge in illegal crossings, the Biden administration...
We're doing all we can. The answer is it remains to be seen.
The numbers are out. Since Biden has taken office, the floodgates have opened, and over 10 million reported have poured through our borders.
People don't understand legal citizens that fought the right, went through the proper ways of becoming a citizen while they're so upset. Could you imagine someone making their mortgage payment every month for 25 years and somebody walk across the border and get a house right next door to you for free? The people that try to do it the right way, you punish them. But the people who does it illegally, you reward them. I am not anti-immigrant. I just want what's best for America.
For those of you that don't know, you should look this up. How many foods are banned in European countries that are allowed here? The depopulation side, if our testosterone is down by 50% since it was in 1990, less kids to populate the earth, right?
You never hear people talking about the nutritional stuff. No one, no politician, that's like taboo for them. I just wish people would try to become better people.
It's not black versus white, straight versus gay. Right. It's us versus them, and them are our establishment overlords.
This is Sparta!
Welcome back to Spartan Leadership. I'm your host, Josh Kosnick, and we got another leadership in review. So I got my man, Emmanuel Whitfield, the man, the myth, the legend, greatest man alive.
Yes.
Self-proclaimed, might we add. In the studio with me today, and of course, we got a fine cigar that we're each smoking on. What'd I give you, Oliva?
Oliva.
Gave my man E Oliva. Mm-hmm. And I'm smoking a Cuban Punch from the Spanish Regional. So that's the cigar lowdown. But if this is your first time on the show or on the podcast listening in, we do two types of shows within the show. One is typically the leadership or leader to leader conversations, where I'm having a conversation with another leader. And then once a month, we do these leadership and reviews, which we're typically assessing our political overlords. We'll find some corporate and societal stuff in here every once in a while. But in general, we're typically showing people how to have a contentious conversation over some topics, politically charged, politically motivated, and still coming out friends, but having a difficult conversation like we do in our cigar lounges nationwide. And that was the premise of the show. So today we got a couple topics we're going to dive into. One being immigration.
Yes.
Emmanuel's particularly charged about that, and we want to talk, and I've got some feelings as well. So I want to talk about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Republican presidential debates. We've had two of them now. Talk a little bit about that. And then we also want to talk about the global depopulation efforts being made. And for those of you new to that topic and wondering what the heck I'm talking about, well, stay tuned. We'll clue you in a little bit. So on immigration, E. Well, first of all, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Life is good.
Back smoking cigars?
Back smoking. Hey, listen, I'm one of those guys. I get it how I live. I don't want everything to fall in my lap. I enjoy nature. I enjoy freedom. I enjoy America, and I enjoy results, because it's not going to bother me. If I wake up tomorrow, I don't care who the president is, because I can look in the mirror. I know who I am. A lot of people can't do that. And most
you mean your identity isn't in having a label behind your name?
No, it's not about
Democrat,
label.
Republican.
I would never be
Bidenomics.
Like joining a gang. Are you a Crip? Are you a Blood or whatever? I just want what's best for America. And I warned a lot of people at the barbershops. I warned a lot of people in the black community about open borders. I warned them. And you get the results now. I hate to gloat. I hate to be happy, but sometimes it feels good to be right, you know. So you beg for it, you get it. Yeah. I watched what's the governor of New York? She's on film talking about, we want to encourage people to come over here. We want more immigrants. Now, let's fast forward to today. crying. We can't handle this. You know,
New York City mayor, exact same thing.
Yeah.
We're a sanctuary city.
Yes.
Send them here.
Yes.
All of a sudden, school starts, and what happens? Oh, we don't have enough infrastructure to support all of the immigration.
Yes.
And so New York City, which I was just in last week, where the UN was, is a shit show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And not only that, as far as they didn't have the infrastructure, they're also paying for these people to be here. So they're being treated better than our own citizens.
Oh, vets can't get any hotel rooms. Americans that are in need, they can't get any help. And I hate to say, I'm kind of harsh. You really get, especially people in the black community, they're going to look at me like I'm some sellout or whatever. You can think whatever you want to think. But when you start voting the wrong way and you encourage open borders, don't cry now. I don't want to hear no crying. I don't want to hear anything about this Chicago, New York, or any black community, because it's not going to help you in the long run. People have to have somewhere to go. They're not rich enough to get out into these rich neighborhoods. They come into the urban area, the inner city, and it's self-inflicted wounds, you know? And they're feeling the price. They're marching in Chicago right now. Everybody's protesting in New York. I'm an American first guy. If we have some extra, come on over if you can do it the right way, you know? But I don't want to hear about it.
We have a process.
Yeah. You can't skip the line and get taken. You know, you let someone, you would never go next door to your next door neighbor and take care of their kids better than you take care of your kids. Yeah. You know, so.
Well, so to put in perspective for everyone, the numbers are out where since Biden has taken office, the floodgates have opened and over 10 million reported have poured through our borders in the last, well, he took office in 2020, right?
Yeah.
So last 3 years.
3 years.
10 million reported, right? So that number could be triple that. And so what's interesting, as you were talking, it reminded me, before Obama took office, back before 2008, there's many speeches that you guys can all look up of Obama talking about immigration and being harsh, almost saying verbatim the same things Trump said. Mm-hmm. And then Trump was called racist, and all of a sudden the Democrats changed their tone. Why do you think the Democrats changed their tone on immigration?
It's the messenger. It's not the message, it's the messenger. But I look at it like this. The Democrats are trying to get a new voting bloc.
There it is.
They're weakening America. And a lot of people don't understand. This is no knock against immigrants. I am not anti-immigrant, but you have to realize some of the diseases, hepatitis and all of these other foreign stuff that we're not used to over here, that comes over here with it, you know? So once these little illnesses break out into some urban communities, they're going to be all upset about that too. You know, the schools, they don't have enough for the schools, for the kids at school already. And now you're bringing in more and more and more, and they're cutting right in front of the line. It's just crazy. They're staying in like $500 a night hotels. You know, all of their medical stuff is paid for. And you got veterans sleeping on the sidewalks of all of these urban cities and under bridges and stuff like that. I just don't think that's right. Not at all. Not at all.
So, well, I'm just, let's stay on that for a minute, because I just want everyone to get into this. Like, before 2010, you have every major Democrat, Obama, Biden, Pelosi, Schumer, all of them were against this immigration and doing something at the southern border. We have to address the southern border. We have to address the southern border. They're saying the exact same things Trump said. As soon as Trump gets in office, they label him racist for saying the exact same things they said. So, like, the motivation, it's creating a new voting bloc, like you said. But what else do you think is there?
Depopulation.
Well, I don't know if it's depopulation. Is that?
Well, they're changing. I'm saying not depopulation, but they're changing the populations of Americans, because the blacks are becoming more and more of a minority. Whites are going to become more and more of a minority. We're going to look up. We're going to be living in Mexico or something. And this is just being real. You go places right now, you need a translator to talk to the people that you're buying from now. You know, you go to certain restaurants, you go to certain stores. We're becoming a minority in our own country, and that's crazy to me. It really is. I don't even know. You asked that question, Josh. I don't know what the hell they're doing. It's just a bunch of craziness going on.
Well, they're being registered as Democrats as they come across. Mm-hmm. They're going to vote, and that's why Democrats don't want voter ID. It's not because they're for the black people. And it's always so funny to me. Anytime a Democrat brings up that argument.
Yeah.
You're saying that my man Emmanuel, just because of the color of his skin, is too stupid to go get an ID?
Yeah. Yeah. It shows how racist you are to think someone is dumb enough to get an ID. I guarantee if they gave out $20,000 checks, but you had to have an ID to get one, every black person on this planet would have an ID. There wouldn't be no if, buts, or maybe. They'd find a way to go get one.
There's your reparations answer.
There you go. Give me that $20,000 check. But no, the black vote is going to be obsolete in a minute. They're already pushing them out because they haven't delivered in 50 years. And blacks are starting to wake up. But it's too late. By the time you wake up, there's a whole new voting block.
Well, it's not too late. I think this election, this coming presidential election, is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, yeah.
As everyone's got to band together and get wise to this establishment game. So I agree. I disagree on the depopulation. I think it's more demoralization.
Yeah.
So
well,
yeah,
when
you
I say
could
depopulate. I'm talking about the black.
You're talking about.
It's just going to knock the black population down. You know, when you're
so that their votes don't matter as much as
they don't care about the vote. They're just going to squash that. We got the Hispanic vote now, but one thing you can't do is underestimate Hispanics. You know, and that's like the thing that's backfiring because Hispanics aren't for open borders. A lot of them aren't for open borders, and they're not for abortion. And Trump is getting more support from them than the black community. Yeah. So
well, let me actually give you my opinion on. So I think it's demoralization. Real quick, I'll say that it's actually. This is why, like, someone saying America first, or putting that up is now they're labeled as a hate group because what they're trying to do is demoralize any culture that we have, any sense of pride in our country. And they're doing that worldwide because they want to create a one world government. That's what they're doing, especially that. So we're getting this immigration influx where all these European countries this has been happening to them for decades now. Now we're finally seeing it because they got someone in office who's a puppet in Biden who's allowing this to happen. So here's my take on this too. For those of you that don't have any relatives or friends that have immigrated to this country through the proper channels, I encourage you to broaden your network.
Yeah.
I'll tell you quick about one of my brother's father-in-law. So I have two younger brothers. One of them is married to a 100% Colombian woman who immigrated here through the proper channels, and it took, I think, 8 years.
Yeah.
For her to finally get citizenship.
And they have to pass a test at the end.
And she had to pass a test.
Yeah.
And she is extremely proud to now be an American.
Earned it.
Yep. Right? And they have beautiful children. Right? And they're biracial.
Yeah.
Right? So then I have another brother who's married to a woman that's half Irish, half Vietnamese. Her father, 100% Vietnamese, fought for us in the Vietnam War. So he was South Vietnamese. He flew a helicopter and rescued and also picked up our dead, wounded American soldiers. He earned his path to citizenship by fighting for us in a war, whether you thought we should be in it or not. That doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is he fought, saved American lives, and honored American lives.
Yeah, he volunteered for that.
And landed his helicopter on one of our ships to earn his right to the U.S.
Nice.
So in that regard, so this is the most mild-mannered man I've ever spoken to, so humble. And I'm talking to them out at my brother's wedding. And the only time I've ever seen this man riled up is on the topic of immigration. Because not only did he fight for our country to earn his right to have citizenship here, he also went through the proper channels to earn for four of his family members to earn their right to the U.S. and become citizens.
Yeah.
And that took decades. That was over the course of 2 decades.
Yeah. People don't understand why legal citizens that fought the right, went through the proper ways of becoming a citizen, why they're so upset with illegal immigrants.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need to broaden your horizons because if you actually knew what it took for some of these people to earn their right here, whereas people now have this free pass to just walk through the door. You'd be pissed off too.
But people only get mad when they can experience it. Could you imagine someone making their mortgage payment every month for 25 years and somebody walk across the border and get a house right next door to you for free? You're not going to like that at all. You're like, I went about getting this the right way. I paid for this house.
I paid all that interest.
And you just give it to someone else free.
Yeah.
That's how it is, walking in front of the line.
And by the way, it's not free because that's our taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, it's a double whammy.
Again, most people don't even realize the government doesn't make money.
Yeah.
We make money.
Yeah.
And they steal it from us. Mm-hmm. Under the guise of taxation. And then you're not pissed off that they're sending this money to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Where it's the most corrupt government, if not the second most corrupt government in the world.
Could you imagine being able to rob your country blind and blame it on Russia? And what else are they blaming? They're blaming it on Russia.
No, rob your neighbor blind and blame it on your other neighbor.
That's what they're doing. Why is gas so high? Because of Russia and the Ukraine war. Well, you chose to get into this Ukrainian war to pay your buddies off, and you got rid of the oil reserves on purpose. It's just so much that goes on that the average person don't know about, just like the EV cars. I was just looking at that. I had no clue what was really going on with these electric vehicles and the way that they're taxing the common man and benefiting the rich. I mean, just ask yourself, how many people out there can afford, a $80,000, $90,000 truck? And, well, that's an expensive truck. So what do? They turn around and say, we'll give you, $20,000 rebate back, to try to help out the car manufacturers. But that rebate is coming out of your tax dollars. And when they can't sell these trucks, what do? All these trucks aren't selling. So Ford has to make up for that. So they just turn around and they tax the common cars for the middle class. A Ford Fusion has went up about, $2-3 grand to subsidize these electric vehicles that Biden and the rest of the Democrat nuts want to push off on people. So it's just a really, really tangled web they weave and a really good game they play that flies over the common man's head because most of us don't want to read, and it's on both sides of the coin because Republicans are in there getting money too. So
again, it's the establishment.
Yeah,
so that's where we got to stop. We're going to make a concerted effort on this show to talk about the establishment more than we say Republicans, Democrats.
They're
because
all some
again, we need to stop identifying ourselves with any of these two stupid parties because they're just one.
Corrupt parties, yeah.
But you bring up a good point. If anyone wants to understand why they're pushing climate change so much, research EVs. Mm-hmm. It's a transfer of wealth.
Yeah, exactly.
They're redefining the game and putting money into their pockets. So if you look at all the owners of these green companies, they're transferring wealth to those companies, right? And so if you think about EVs or you look at EVs and you do any research on the batteries, the cobalt, the mining, it's slave labor. It all comes from China and it's a limited resource. Once it's gone, it's gone. There's not like this Agenda 2030 and making everything, having all these electric vehicles. There's not the capacity.
They can't regrow that cobalt.
You can't regrow it. Whereas oil is a replenishable resource. It's below our feet right now in the earth, is replenishing all the time.
Yeah.
It's the lie they tell you. And then if you supposedly care about slave labor, but you're buying an electric vehicle, you're full of shit because you're feeding into slave labor, just like you are in buying Nike shoes.
That's so crazy too, how
hypocrites.
Yeah, how these politicians say, "Oh, we hate Russia," but it was Hillary Clinton who pushed to sell Russia like uranium or something. It was some mines they had over that America kind of pretty much had control of, and Hillary Clinton did a really big deal with Russia, and Hunter Biden was pushing to Africa. I think we had some rights to some of those cobalt mines over in Africa, and we kind of sold that out to China. So it's like we're just doing counterproductive stuff, selling out all of our natural resources to China. So I don't know what China has on Joe Biden, but he's been really, really good to those guys. He has. All
right, now let's finish off on immigration real quick. We digressed a little bit, which is all right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
The immigration piece. They pushed, and we'll say the establishment, they pushed these families in cages, children in cages. Remember all those images? Remember AOC and her fake crew staging that? And by the way, Obama had kids in cages too, just like they were doing when Trump was in office, right? But they kept pushing this. The vast majority of the immigration right now is not kids, is not families.
Right.
Which we talked a little bit on the previous episode. Some of the kids coming through that are being trafficked, we're actually the middleman to traffic them, which is bullshit in and of itself. It's disgusting that we're taxpayer dollars are the middleman to traffic children that are being sexually abused. That's disgusting. However, what I want to say with that is the majority are military-aged men coming across. Mm-hmm. We're being invaded from the inside. This is the Trojan horse that we brought up before.
Unvented, too.
Right.
These guys haven't been checked
Countries
out.
are emptying their prisons, taking their worst of the worst, and just, here you go. Go up to the U.S. Go up to Texas.
That, Josh, if you were a child molester, a rapist, you owed child support, you were in debt, and your life was just miserable, and they say, hey, you can go to another country and clean your whole slate. You're not. You don't have a medical record. You don't have a criminal record. You don't have a financial record. People get a clean slate.
You don't even have a name. You can make whatever up.
Just
and you
a
do
reset button, and you jump in the front of the line. Your credit good now.
Oh, and get this. This dumb country is going to pay you to live there.
Exactly. It's ludicrous, man. But you keep voting for this. On both sides, you keep voting for this. So until people wake up, you're going to get the same result. I don't feel sorry for anyone. I don't want to see anybody wake up and complain about immigration. My neighborhood, my schools are overflowed. I see this all the time. You can turn the TV on right now. The black community is just up in arms in Chicago and New York. And I hate to be a hypocrite, but I just sit back and like, told you so. You wanted this. You voted that guy in. And he's worse than Lightfoot. This guy's worse than Lightfoot. So bad habits, voting habits, that is. So
I will say this in closing on immigration. No one's sitting here saying that we don't need a plan. Yeah, no one's sitting here saying that our immigration system isn't broken. Because I just shouldn't take 8 years for my sister-in-law to gain citizenship.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take, I think it was 8 to 10 years for my barber who immigrated from New Zealand to get his citizenship.
But that's the part that get me. The thing that should be easy, like making her wait 8 years, you could cut that in half, but not making them wait at all is just crazy to me. So the people that try to do it the right way, you punish them. But the people who does it illegally, you reward them. It doesn't make sense.
It makes zero sense. No, that's what I'm saying. But like, there has to be a plan.
Yeah.
And there has to be actual reform. So no one's saying that that's the thing is like, what's ludicrous is exactly what you're saying is that, so we had all these people and we are a nation of immigrants. Mm-hmm. We are. Yes. However, most of these people did it the right way. Even way back when you registered at Ellis Island.
Ellis Island. Yep.
You know where we know where you came from.
Yeah.
Right now, there's none of that.
You have no clue who's near.
So
neighbor.
In fact, like we've reverted centuries, like we've backtracked centuries to like archaic times.
Yeah.
With our immigration system.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, why? Well, so something's going to happen, right? So if you just think about like Chinese spies, like if we have enemies out there, which most people would say we do, let's say, because Putin's the boogeyman. If Putin's the boogeyman, okay, let's pretend in your little make-believe world that Putin's the boogeyman. We'll go with that for a minute. Let's say Putin wanted to empty his prisons.
Yeah.
And send his KGB operatives to the U.S.
Yeah.
You think there's anyone stopping him right now? Not a single soul. So let's just play that out. Putin's the boogeyman. Now he wants to invade the U.S. Boom.
Yeah.
Well, he can do that absolutely right now because Biden's not stopping anyone from coming through the border. So we could have upwards of tens of thousands to 1 million Russian operatives or Chinese operatives, military-age males here right now underneath our noses waiting to attack us. And yet all of you sitting there and going, no, they're kids immigrating.
I saw that too. I saw like a bunch of middle-aged Chinese guys coming from the Mexican border. And I was like, this just doesn't even look right. But it's amazing how when they open the floodgates, when you see a lot of these African, the Black Caucus, you sit back and you root on this stuff, but they don't tell you when you see a lot of these African countries, Haiti, Cuba, when they start trying to come over in boatloads, it's amazing how America can turn them back right away. It's just out the gate. They don't want that floodgate to open to the Congo and a lot of these Africans and stuff like that. But I remember the great Cuban boat lift and stuff like they were turning back boatloads of these Cubans and leaving them out to sea to drown. It's just amazing how they can get tough on immigration then, but it's just getting out of hand. And the people that vote for it, when it start affecting you, that's the only way you're going to wake up and learn, when it starts affecting you.
It hasn't affected white suburbia yet.
Not yet. But
and
when
that's
it
why
did
these
come close, they shut that down right away.
Or Martha's Vineyard? They shut that down real quick. They shut it down
right away. So it's so easy when you're rich and you live in your suburb and you put your little Black Lives Matter poster in your window and you say, we want open borders, we care about, but as soon as they come to your neighborhood, the true colors come out.
That's what, actually, great idea. If you vote for Biden, if you vote Democrat and you want these open borders, go ahead and house some immigrants.
Yeah.
Open up your basements.
Yeah. Rent a room out. Yeah.
See how it goes. I mean, I think let's see how it goes. And God forbid one of these people rape your wives, rape your daughters, any of this different, like.
And we're not calling all of them rapists, but when you start getting those results, just like anyone that's like for defunding the police until they get beat up, then it's like, why don't you get tougher on these criminals and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, absolutely not calling them all, but you don't think there's some?
Oh,
What did they go to prison for? Well, we didn't even check that.
But when we say that, they'll try to twist, you trying to say all immigrants? No, there are rapists that are Americans, there are rapists that are immigrants, there are rapists that are from every walk of life. But, a lot of these guys that get let out of prison and they get put back, you see it all the time. They'll be like, it's an illegal immigrant that just ran down and raped 3 girls or shot 3 people. And not saying it doesn't happen in America, because it happens over here every day, but you got to walk the walk and talk the talk at the same time. Don't say you want open borders only for them and not for me. They can go to your neighborhood, but don't come over here.
Rules for thee, not for me.
That is so true. So true.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit. We're going to have a couple friends in here to talk about immigration more. I want to bring in some people that have gone through proper immigration. My guy Julio, I'm going to ask him too.
And I want someone that's an illegal to enlighten me. I get it. I get it why everyone wants to come to America.
You think we're going to get someone on here that's illegal to go on camera?
No.
I mean, shit, no one's holding him accountable anyhow. We can
have the mask on, the little dotted out thing, and he can talk with the change of a voice.
Well, auto-tune.
Looking like the first 48. I'm not gonna say like a foreign name. I'll say Emmanuel. I'll use my name. No. We got Emmanuel here. He got the Well, when I first came here, I just didn't know I could get so rich off the government. And I told about 20 of my buddies, hey, do what I did.
We'll have Alicia work the auto-tune so they sound like Kanye's 808s.
Oh, man, this ain't comedy hour, Josh.
It can be. But anyhow, so we'll get off immigration for a minute, and let's talk a little bit about the presidential debates, what you've seen so far. Obviously, the biggest news is Trump's not on that stage, and I frankly look at that. I want to get your opinion on what you've seen so far, but I frankly look at that as like a first-round pick that's like a guaranteed number 1 pick.
Why are
you going to go to the combine and run a 40 and potentially get hurt or drop your draft status if you're already projected to be the first overall pick?
That's a really good way to put that.
That's how I see that for anyone wondering why he's not up there. I don't think it has anything to do with what they're trying to do to him legally. I think it's more like, hey, I'm the guy.
He's got a great agent. Don't go mess around and play that preseason game,
Yeah, but what do you think of the 7 that have been debating so far?
Oh, it was pretty horrible to watch. I'm not a fan of the Republican Party at all right now. I know they're better than the Democrats a little bit, but I'm a Trump guy, and there's nothing even close. I did like DeSantis and I like Vivek for a minute, but then you watch them and it's just all of this smiling and pandering to make people like you. I like a straight shooter. I don't need anyone to like me because I live my truth. I believe in me. I don't like people to get up there and put on an act. You could see right through Christie. You could see Scott out of South Carolina. It was just pathetic to see him just so needy and pitiful, and he's talking with his hand, and we need to get over the hump. I'm like, dude, there's nothing authentic about you. There was nothing
You
authentic
see some of those in like Instagram creators too. They're trying to like use their hands, but they don't do it in like a way that goes with the words they're saying. It's kind of funny.
And DeSantis is stiff. I would take him over a lot of them. But at the end of the day, you could see the corporations that own these puppets. You could it exudes off of them. And you can't talk about Vivek got kind of caught up a little bit. You're talking about people being bald, and then you were working with a company that worked with Hunter Biden. You don't want to be associated with anything with Hunter Biden. But last night, I would have to go with DeSantis, and that's just forcing me to take him. But what's her name?
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley. She's a warmonger, and like I said, all of them raised their hand for this Ukrainian war, except for Vivek, and that just shows you
how establishment they're bought in.
Yeah, they're all bought. And Scott he's just drop out, bro.
Christie needs to drop out. Scott needs to drop out.
He can't even control his weight, and he's trying to talk about controlling a country, and he's just the biggest Trump hater. All of them are pretty much Trump haters. I've really realized the establishment Republican, they are just such another wing of politics that are all united. That's the only way that bird can fly. Left wing, right wing, the bird can fly. And everyone wants Trump. It's just, Trump is the greatest thing that ever came to politics. Ever. To me, that's just my opinion.
In our lifetimes, at least, right?
I think ever. I mean, I've been around a long time, Josh. I'm so old, I owe Moses $2, the real Moses. So I've seen it all, BC days. So I know a little bit that you guys don't know.
So you know what I haven't watched the debates. Mm-hmm. I've seen some snippets here and there. You haven't
missed anything.
But no, here's the thing. I haven't been motivated to watch them.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing on there. There's not one candidate on that stage that I would vote for.
They don't stand for anything, Josh. They don't.
That's the thing is like DeSantis monkeys. Sounded good when he was governor and going through COVID. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as he took this platform, like you said, he's stiff.
Yeah.
He seems bought and paid for. Inauthentic. Yeah. Like it just ever since he announced his he sounded great as a governor of Florida during COVID. He did some good things then. And ever since he's announced his presidency, I think he's completely ruined his chances of being president.
Just look at who's funding him. That says it all. He's going to play ball.
You know what it is? It's almost like Jeb Bush reincarnate.
Exactly. That's what he is. He's another Jeb Bush.
He's another Jeb Bush.
Yes,
and as soon as Trump gets on that stage, he'll bury him like he buried Jeb Bush when he called out and said, see all out here? These are all your people, all your lobbyists, all your funders.
Yeah.
He's like, my people couldn't get tickets because all your rich lobbyist friends got all the time. They start booing because he's like, yep, those are your people.
Trump's the best.
Jeb had nothing to say.
Trump's the best.
But that's what DeSantis is too. He's the same, bought and paid for.
He's 2.0.
So that's why you can't trust him. And like, I know Florida people like him. I get it. He did some good things as governor. Keep him there. Have him do some good things as governor. He's not fit to be president if he's bought and paid for.
None of them have a backbone. I like Ron Paul, whatever
Rand Paul's the man. I wish.
I like Getz.
I wish Rand Paul could be president or run for president.
He's too real. Like Republicans don't understand. It's so many established Republican voters. Like when you keep voting in people like Mitch McConnell and Trey Gowdy and these guys were high up in the Republican Party, you are just voting for
McCarthy.
Democrats. McCarthy, Matt Getz. Anytime the FBI goes after someone, that means they're against the establishment. Getz, all of the ladies, the green chick and Burball, whatever her name is, the little hot one, hot one got caught at the Beetlejuice. She's human. She's human.
Yeah. Wait, you saying you've never felt up a chick in a movie theater?
Exactly. You never went to the movies and ate popcorn?
Come on, that was my
a grease stain on her jersey.
Favorite pastime in middle school. Back in the movie theater.
But no, the Republican Party, man, they have totally pissed me off. They've shown their true colors. I've never seen anyone so together as a group of Democrats and Republicans that have united.
Establishment.
Yeah, to get rid of Trump. This is the only party, like, you can't do the stuff to a Democrat that Democrats do to a Republican. They get on TV. No Republican stands up for Trump except for Jordan and Getz and the 5 people that really like Trump. They will say, I hate it when you see an interview and they say, well, he was a Trump appointee. Like
So-
if someone appoints someone,
It doesn't automatically make them bad.
I'm like, everyone hated Trump. Look at how many people wrote books that was in his cabinet. They all get out. Even Pence turned on him. Matt Barr was his attorney general, whatever he was. He hated Trump.
He needs to get off stage
Yeah,
too.
he's trying to write
There couldn't
a book.
be a more boring person on the planet than Mike Pence.
And they wondering why. I'm like, everyone was investigating Trump. The FBI, before he even made it, we have a way to stop him. And it was Trump against the world. And they're trying to say he's an appointee. I don't care who's an appointee by Trump. They all hated Trump. They all wanted to get rid of him because he was stopping that money machine. He was against the military-industrial complex.
He's against everything that's been screwing us over. And that's my favorite quote of Trump is, they hate me because I stand in the way of letting them get to you.
Yeah.
They come after me because I won't let them come to you, get after you.
Yes.
Like that's real.
Yeah.
Right. And for those of you that haven't woken up yet, it isn't black versus white, gay versus straight.
Yeah.
It's us versus them.
But you know what, Josh, on a serious note,
What I just said was very serious.
it was super serious. But what gets to me, Josh, I'm trying to be serious. That was serious. But what really gets to me, I want anyone that hears this, ask yourself, you need to look in the mirror. When you can let someone influence you to take on the same exact mentality as the Ku Klux Klan, you really need to have an awakening with yourself. I look at Black America, I look at gay Americans, I look at Democrats and Republicans alike. To look at someone and say, just because I don't like you, I'm willing to hang you. I'm willing to kill you, even if there's no evidence. I just don't like. How can anybody black get mad at the Ku Klux Klan? That was their exact mentality. I don't like you because of the color you are. The jury's going to be rigged. The person that kills you is going to be labeled a hero. Look at the Democratic Republican Party. Look at how many people who say, I don't care if Trump's not guilty. I just hate him. I want him to go to jail for 1,000,000 years. You have no right to ever talk about the Ku Klux Klan, slavery, anything like that if you taking on that mentality. And unfortunately, I see so many.
You're right.
People.
What's different?
There's nothing different. It's just instead of being black, he's a Republican that you don't like. And you got Republicans that hate him. But I can see if he does something, go to jail. But you got people, if you ask 90% of Democrats right now, would you lose any sleep if someone took Donald Trump to a firing squad? They'd be like, I'd jump for joy with no evidence. The man hasn't done anything, but that's their mentality. And then you got my gay friends, they don't mind if he died. My black friends, they don't mind if he died. And my white friends, they don't mind if he died because they have a Ku Klux Klan mentality. I hate Joe Biden, but I would never want Joe Biden to go to jail or even get in trouble for something he didn't do. If he did something, if Donald Trump did something, I could see the anger. Oh, I made a phone call and say, look for some votes. Oh, I paid some chick off that I had an affair with. But we give the real criminals a pass. Let's talk about Barack Obama. Let's talk about destroying a whole country. Let's talk about Barack Obama destroying Libya, more drone strikes, war crimes, and all kind of stuff. Donald Trump didn't even start a war.
They don't want to talk about that because Obama was likable.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he spoke well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he was the first black president.
And the first gay president. Kudos. I mean, people, they don't want to write about his gayness like it's a crime. They should be happy.
Allegedly.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you should be happy that he was gay. You know, that should be something celebrated. They celebrate everything about it right now, which is nothing wrong with that. I think he should go to like the pride parades and all of that stuff and stand up for it instead of trying to suppress it. But yeah, we got a long way to go, man. This KKK mentality, and people think they're really righteous. They look in the mirror, oh, I'm a good person. No, you're willing to kill someone because you don't like them. That's sad. It's really sad.
It's not something to be righteous about.
Exactly. You're wrongish.
Yeah. And that's why I always go after, say, my upper middle class white neighborhood that votes that way, is you're not doing anything, but you're abdicating responsibility, personal responsibility, by hanging a flag.
Oh, I got
or putting a black square.
I got a Black Lives Matter poster.
Or voting Democrat. That's not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's abdicating personal responsibility.
Yeah. It makes them feel good, though.
Yeah.
Everyone's about feelings.
And groupthink.
Yeah.
Right. It's this groupthink mentality. Anyhow. So what do you think on the Democrat side? You think Biden's going to be the guy?
I'm hoping so. I mean, sometimes you have to burn a building down before you can rebuild it. And
I don't think they're going to let him be the guy.
I hope he is, though.
I think it's going to be Michelle Obama.
Well, he might do a good job. I'm just joking.
No, you're not.
I mean, that's just what people say. I don't know. I could care less.
Allegedly.
I wouldn't care if his balls were bigger than mine. But one thing I've learned about the Democratic Party and a lot of the Republican Party, you can actually, like you right now, I'm not in either party, but I will go in. You can't name over 10 Republicans that are good. You can't do it. And I can't name one Democrat that's good. I say, let me see is there one good. I used to think Bernie was good. He's an establishment. He'll fund the Ukrainian war. He never would have the fortitude to say this is wrong. Like, all the Democrats will sit back and let our civil liberties be taken away. They will suppress your vote. And they talk about voter suppression. They will suppress your vote. And the what world do we live in when the ACLU has picked a side to suppress people's civil liberties? That is crazy to me. They will let somebody say, well, you can't say where coronavirus came from. Freedom of speech. They're taking our freedom of speech. And I'm like, you think Bernie...
I'm like, hi, have you heard of the Spanish flu?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where do you think it came from?
Yeah, Africa.
But you can't say it's the Chinese virus?
You will never find one Democrat with any type of moral compass to say, and we can't just go around arresting people for crimes that aren't crimes. You know, none of them are going to say what Trump is going through is wrong. But you had Republicans jump inside and talking about don't impeach Biden right now. And there's a nice trail of evidence on him. But Republicans and Democrats, they're all the same. But that's what I'm saying. You can't tell me one Democrat that's against funding Ukraine. You can't find one. You can't find one Democrat that says, hey, Twitter and all of these other people, stop suppressing people's thoughts and freedom of speech. They're all for it. And people think it's an even playing field. There's not even a close. Does impeaching even
do anything? I mean, we impeached Bill Clinton. He still was president.
Yeah.
We impeached Trump. He's still president.
But if they could have found if they could have found Trump guilty, they would have tried to get rid of him. It would have been a lot done to Trump. But the rest of them.
Well, here's the thing. You think back to the Clinton thing. How many CEOs, how many leaders or bosses have been fired for sleeping with their assistant or their younger counterpart?
News anchors and everything.
He's still president.
Yeah. News anchors, everything. You can't even do that at Taco Bell. You screw the manager at Taco Bell. No more free burritos for you. You're out of there. But that's just the Democratic Party. And you know what, though, Josh? What goes around comes around. And the left has dominated media, banking, Hollywood. I tell people think, it's not even playing. Look at all the late night talk shows. Name me one that's right wing other than Gut-Free on Fox. Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, that's not even a night.
Right.
I mean, it's
all of the major
Kimmel.
everyone, all the way down. They're all left wingers.
Well, both Fallon, Kimmel, and then Stephen Colbert.
And Colbert used to act like he was conservative.
Controlled opposition. No, he never was.
Yeah.
Even when you watch that show, they were really making fun of Republicans.
And even Jon Stewart and all of these guys that
actually, you know who's gotten based? Bill Maher.
Yeah, but that's because...
But he used to be very left.
Yeah, but that's because so many facts are hitting him. He's still left, though. He's still hard-headed.
But he's starting to wake up.
He is. And they're getting mad at him. But once people... When people started telling him, coming on TV, saying, men can get pregnant, he was like, this is just getting out of hand now. This is just crazy. It's crazy, but...
Because it is.
That's the world we live in, man. And it's just getting bad. And
all right, last topic. But you think Biden's going to be the guy?
I hope he is. Yeah.
Or you hope he is or you think he is?
The Democrats are so lame. Democrats, they elected a guy that couldn't even talk.
Well, that was purposeful.
Yeah.
He's a patsy.
And
he's not in control of anything.
You're making my point. What is Joe Biden? He's a patsy.
That's what I'm saying. He's controlled.
They want him. Yeah.
And he's bought and paid for, so that's why the immigration shit that we're talking about, he's just letting it happen. Oil reserves, letting it happen.
Yeah.
Bankrupting us, letting it happen.
Yeah. That's why they want him there.
Destroying the middle class, letting it happen. Yeah. He's running the play for the one world, for the WEF, for all the different bullshit. All right. Last topic we got for y'all is depopulation. And I'm going to take a different angle to this because I think this deserves probably a whole episode. But I've been really paying attention, and some of you may know, I've talked about it a little bit, but my wife is getting her master's in nutrition right now. Graduates in a few months, actually just a couple months. So very proud of her. And and we've always been pretty healthy. But it's interesting as you travel the world, it's interesting as you go more and more into nutrition, how little that we know and are taught about nutrition as humans and residents of the United States. And the purpose, but dude, do you remember the food pyramid when you and I were growing up?
Oh yeah. 4-H club.
How unhealthy that actually was for us.
And we thought that was the best thing since sliced bread.
And parents followed that like like it was the Bible.
Plenty of carbs. Yeah.
Lots of milk, lots of carbs.
Yes.
White refined sugars, all the different stuff.
God, that was a train wreck.
So anyhow, you think about that, and then you think about, and for those of you that don't know, you should look this up. How many foods are banned in European countries
that are allowed here? You look at the grocery stores and how they're laid out. Yeah. All of the healthy food is on the outside. The meats, the produce, all the different stuff. All the inside is processed foods. Wow. And so when you walk in, you walk straight into the processed foods. Josh, what you're doing right now is taking people to school. Have you ever heard a politician talk about this?
No. So get this too. There's 19 federal agencies that are supposed to protect us in the foods system. FDA is the biggest one.
They're all bought off.
But they're all bought off.
Yep.
So when I went to DC, I used to, for those of you that are new listeners, I used to go to DC, and this is how I got on the political train. And I actually, back in early 2000s to say, 12, I would have identified as a Republican. And I've ever since going to DC for 6 years and taken these trips. And at that time, I was going to essentially talk to politicians and lobby for my industry, the financial services industry. And I would talk to these politicians, and I would end up talking to not only the Congress people or the senators, but also their team members, their staffers. And I got really disenfranchised because I would watch them lie to my face.
Wow.
And then I'd go to the cigar lounge and see a Republican and Democrat that just were, yelling at each other, beefing on TV, just for the cameras. They're smoking a cigar. Or go to the golf course and they're buddy.
Yep.
Just screwing us. But my point for bringing this up actually is I was staying at the Hyatt right there, real close to the Capitol. And in the Hyatt that day was the, I don't remember what they were called, but the sugar lobbies. So they're handing out candy bars and shit. And I'm like, I walk up and I'm like, hey, what are you guys, doing here? I'm here for this. And they're there to lobby for sugar subsidies. Yeah. Because I'm sitting here going, well, wait, what are you lobbying for? Like, everyone knows what you're peddling here is not good for you. Yeah. But they're lobbying for sugar subsidies.
And that's something.
Which is essentially causing diabetes, obesity, all the different, sugar is cancer. Like, sugar metastasizes cancer at a huge level.
And people don't understand that trickle down. It's another partner in there. You got the sugar lobbyists, and then you got the insulin guys and the metformin guys that are saying, keep pushing that sugar because I need to get my drug off. A bunch of dope dealers.
100%. It all feeds into each other. And so this is what you need to know about those federal agencies. It's all bought and paid for. So the sugar subsidies they get the sugar subsidies to be able to make their products cheaper. Like can you get an organic apple, or a Nestle chocolate bar less expensive? Which one's less expensive?
The damn Nestle chocolate bar.
Damn right.
Damn right. Yeah.
Because of sugar subsidies and the price that they can get that down to.
Organic food costs an arm and a leg.
Right. Wow. Exactly.
Josh, you breaking that down. A lot of people don't ever take time to think about, well, when you don't know what goes on behind closed doors, the door stays shut and you're in the dark.
And this is where I became very libertarian after those 6 years, because I'm like,
pissed you off.
It made me so mad.
The games they're playing in D.C.
Right. That was where my world was shattered, where I was like, I thought these people were good-natured people like you and I, and we're going there to protect and help and serve the American citizen. And I think that sometimes when a new congressperson or a new senator or even the staffers, they go with that intent, and then they get there and they're like, quick. Hey, money, come on over here, or you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and there's money involved. That's where they get corrupted really quick. So that's why I do think people like Donald Trump or some wealthy business owners in the future that are more altruistic but don't need that money. Like, they already have money, so they don't need, like, you see Nancy Pelosi become a billionaire as a politician. You see even
Maxine Waters, all of them. Look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden's been a congressman his whole life, and he's got these big, beautiful mansions in Nantucket and stuff like that. Where does that money come from? He's a
decamillionaire, if not into the hundreds of millions. So it's just the money comes from favors.
You're so right.
And this is how they're bought and paid for.
Trump knows what's going on behind those closed doors,
and he's letting this get exposed right now. So that's I have not been a Trump fan as much as you, or as much as my wife, as much as some others, but my full intent is I think we have to get him back in office. He's letting this get exposed, and to actually now go in and chop the neck off. Because think about this, y'all. 19 federal agencies that touch our food, or that are supposed to protect us. And we have some of the worst food in the world. They're allowing dyes, they're allowing chemicals onto our food, into our food, that are dropping our testosterone.
Cereals for kids and stuff like that. That
are making us become pharma cows, essentially.
Yeah.
That, like, we're beholden to all of the pharmaceutical chemicals. So we're just not only tax cattle to the government, but we're also money makers. We're like corn to farmers.
God, that is true. But more people need to talk about that. Now that you say that, I'm thinking about a cow's milk is to make a calf strong and fat, beef them up. And we're feeding this to our kids. We wonder why our kids are being fat and boys are becoming and getting breasts and stuff like that. We're not really supposed to be drinking.
Well, and then the chemicals that they give cows, or in the feed of the cows, you go down this rabbit hole of nutrition, and you will find out just how corrupt our government is. Because if we're supposed to aspire to be like, let's just say you're a Democrat or you're a progressive or however you identify, and you want to be like the European countries, well, they're so far ahead of us as far as food is concerned.
Nutrition, yeah.
Now, here's the other piece of that is some of these European countries that you call your heroes of progressivism, they outlawed mutilation of children.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. We're still pushing transgender sex changes on children.
Yeah.
They're not.
Right.
But these are your hero countries. So anyhow, the point is, on the food side of things, is the depopulation side. If our testosterone is down by 50% since it was in 1990 in most men.
Less kids.
And less kids to populate the earth, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have transgender push and LGBT push. And again, I have gay friends. Do not care about that, what you do as an adult. But here's the thing. We could look up statistics. I didn't have time before the show, but we could look up statistics. How many straight people have kids versus lesbian and gay people have kids?
Yeah.
Right. So pushing that is going to lessen the population regardless.
Yeah.
Like, all these things add up to what the one world government wants in the WF, and they're starting to be more vocal about it. You listen to Bill Gates talk. You listen to Klaus Schwab talk. You listen to some of these uber rich people. They're talking about lessening the world population. And then you couple that with Bill Gates buying up all this farmland.
Why is he buying all the farms?
Why is he buying up? It's a great question. You need to ask.
It's something behind
Right.
it. And my sister always says, nothing against gays, lesbians, but my sister will always tell me, you take 100 men, put them on an island, take 100 women, put them on an island, there will be no more kids.
All right, I'll take that a step further. You put 100 women, you put 90 women and 10 men on an island,
Yeah.
and you'll have a flourishing society in 10 years.
And
you
10 happy men, too.
Or 100 years, let's say.
Yeah.
You put 90 trans women and 10 men on an island, and you'll have nothing but skull and bones.
You're right, Josh. I'm not laughing, but you're 100%
No,
right.
you are laughing, and I'm right.
You're right. You are totally right, man. That's just facts. You can't run away from facts, you know?
So, no, trans women aren't women because women can reproduce.
Exactly.
So, it's just science. I mean, follow the science,
but
right?
you never hear people talking about the nutritional stuff that you were talking about. No one, no politician. I mean, that's like taboo for them to ever awaken in anyone. You don't even hear Joe Rogan or anybody talking about that. That's like really my first time hearing someone break that down. And the thing about that is when you said you'll see them at a cigar bar later on. Buddy, they're actors. They play enemies on TV, but they're really friends. And I personally experienced that once. It blew my mind. My defense attorney, Mark Eisenberg, really good attorney. We went to war with Chris Van Wagner, federal prosecutor. I mean, we went to war. Big money was spent back and forth. It was a long trial, which I beat, thank God. But me and my buddies went to a Brewer game. I couldn't make this up, Josh. We went to a Milwaukee Brewer game. I'm about 5 rows up. I look down in the front. This is right after I won my trial. The DA and Eisenberg sitting together, having a hot dog, watching the Brewers. That's when I said, wow, this is America. This is America.
Big money.
Yeah.
And now y'all know most attorneys are friends.
Yes.
And they milk us.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, who makes the laws in this country?
What do you mean?
Who makes them? What profession?
Well, the people are supposed to determine the laws.
No, they don't.
But the politicians make all the laws.
And what are most politicians?
Attorneys. I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. That makes sense now. Yeah. And then half of us don't even know half of the laws they're enacting or trying to pass because we're ignorant. We don't care. And my sister always tell me local policies is where it's at. You know, they could pass a ordinance or something that you don't have no clue about that could affect your money. It's a dirty game of money that they play. And they're all in on it. And we're the dummies that we're nonchalant to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so my point in bringing up the depopulation thing is to bring some awareness to people. And whether you think I'm right or wrong on that, I don't really care. But what you should care about is your nutrition. What you should care about is your food.
Yeah.
What you should care about is not becoming essentially a slave to pharmaceuticals. What you should care about is not becoming a slave to politicians, to governments, to a one world thing, to anything. Like you should. That's why when Andy Frisella says personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion, they want you fat and unhealthy. Become
and
healthy.
Addicted.
They want
People
you sick,
understand.
be healthy. They want you poor, be wealthy.
You're addicted to those sugars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People don't. They're drug dealers. They're feeding you these. They don't want you off of that.
So your kids are older.
Yeah.
So you ever notice a kid on sugar before and after?
The total. Yeah.
One of my kids, my third daughter, it's an extreme example of this. Her before she has ice cream. After ice cream, totally different person. It's almost like giving cocaine.
Yeah.
Like it's a drastic difference.
I was at a restaurant with my buddy the other day, and this kid and her mom kept saying, "You can't drink that Mountain Dew. You're gonna be up all night." You know,
my kids aren't allowed sodas.
Yeah.
We don't have sodas in the house. I haven't drank a soda in over 12 years.
It's been like 3 or 4 for me.
And my quitting at that time was like, I would rather get my calories from a bourbon or a nice steak than from a soda.
Yeah.
But now seeing all the chemicals and again, going down that rabbit hole, there's good reason not to drink it.
I've been in Mountain Dew recovery for about 3-4 years now, and the best thing I ever did.
I was a Diet Coke guy.
I was a Mountain Dew guy.
I always I don't know, everyone's like, why don't you drink regular Coke? I'm like, I just like the taste better.
Man, Mountain Dew was like crack to me. I'd get up in the morning, afternoon, I was eating.
So now you like coffee.
I'm drinking just straight water now.
Yeah, but I've seen you with the...
Yeah, I drink a coffee, black coffee every now and then, but unsweetened tea. I never thought I could do anything without sugar.
You like your coffee like your women, huh?
Heck yeah. From Colombia.
All right, y'all. Before we digress any further, there is a lot to unpack in what we talked about today. If we could leave you with one thing, I think it's dive down that nutrition rabbit hole a little bit more. The leadership in America is failing us greatly, and failing our kids in particular, because our kids are our future, and we have to be educated to educate our kids, because we know the school system isn't. We know our government isn't. And again, our systems are set up to walk into a grocery store and see junk. When you check out, what do you see? You don't see apples and bananas.
No, you see chips.
You see candy bars and soda in the checkout lines.
That's
and why?
well designed. Because
the psychology behind it is, if I'm standing there in line waiting and I see that yummy little snack and it's only 99 cents, I'm going to quick grab it and put it on.
Dang. I didn't look at it like
There's
that.
A shit ton of psychology that goes behind it.
It is.
So you have to educate yourself to be prepared and to fight it, right? They don't have fresh fruit, like cut up fruit right there.
No, they don't. They don't. It's like like a McDonald's ad almost. You know, it's like you're right. That's always right there at the checkout. And the kids, that's the first thing they want.
Go.
They
can
don't
I
want
have
an apple?
Can I have a candy bar? Can I have some
gum.
Skittles?
Yep.
By the way, Skittles have poison in them. And I used to love Skittles. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But now you do, and once you know better, you must do better. So pay attention. Go down some nutrition rabbit holes. See what foods. Just Google this. What foods are outlawed in Europe that we serve or have plentiful here in the U.S.? And you'll get a whole list of normal foods like that we ate as we were kids, like cereals and stuff of that nature, to snacks, to some of the crackers and chips that have stuff in it that Europe won't even allow to be sold to their public.
Wow.
That we do here.
And you won't hear any congressperson ever talking about that. And before getting out of here, I just wish people would try to become better people. Just better. Get politics out of that. Get rid of that Klan mentality and just find it in your heart to stop judging. Because like I always say, when you could judge a person because of their political views and wish death upon them, you're no better than the Klan. And learn how to always disagree and not disown.
Just have a cigar. Sit down and have a cigar.
Exactly.
And talk it out.
This is a gateway to peace.
That's right. It's not black versus white, straight versus gay.
Right.
It's us versus them. And them are our establishment overlords. All right, y'all. Remember, the good and great are the enemies of possible. Lead like a Spartan today.